Right now, Joe DiGenova joins us for our regular Monday morning feature. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
And so, well, listen, we celebrated Obamacare last week. Celebrated. I don't know if we should celebrate it.
Oh, boy.
But it was the 3-year anniversary of Obamacare getting rammed down the throats of the American people. I think at that time, many of us thought, well, this is never going to stand up in court. This is never going to be found to be constitutional. And, of course, we know how that story went. Yeah. So is the constitutional fight over now with Obamacare? Is it all done? Is it just going to be the law of the land as long as Congress votes to fund it?
Actually, I don't think it is over. As you can see from the ruling last week by the district court judge on Obamacare's effect on an individual business, affecting its religious freedoms, the Monahan case involving the previous owner of Domino's Pizza.
Yes.
I think there's going to be litigation like that over pieces of it. But the real issue over the long term is going to be whether or not sequestration is going to have a profound effect on the funding of Obamacare and keep down federal money running to it, coupled with the problem that the issue of the taxes inside Obamacare, 23 new federal taxes, including, lest everybody forget, a 3.8% surtax on the income of couples earning over $250,000 a year. An unbelievable tax, plus a tax on the sale of all homes in the United States starting in 2014.
Oh, a really quick follow-up on that, Joe. I mean, I saw that one, and it's something like 3.5% or 4% of all home sales over a certain amount.
It's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars. This is one of the sickest pieces of legislation in the history of the United States. Shame on Nancy Pelosi, shame on Harry Reid, and shame on President Obama, our presidential, as you know, Nobel Peace Prizing drone killer.
Can you explain to me how that tax is different than Cyprus just deciding we're going to grab money out of everybody's bank account to help us out?
It's not, Larry. And in fact, I don't know if people miss this, but the Progressive Caucus in the House, the Democrats, proposed a wealth tax, which was defeated in the Budget Committee. They proposed a tax on your 401ks. It was exactly the same thing as Cyprus. Listen, the Democrats are ready. If they take over the House, move to Cyprus. You'll be better off.
Hey, Joe, it's Tori. It's nice to hear your voice.
Tori, great to hear yours.
How's your lovely bride?
Victoria's wonderful. She's feeding me information throughout this broadcast. So
Good for her. Good for her. I knew that's where the brains were. So here's my question about Obama, the 1-year anniversary. A year ago, 18 months ago, when people who opposed Obamacare said, okay, we're going to have to focus on how we overturn it, and there was almost a united front, if you will. One of the things I see is that it is being implemented in such a haphazard way, and in different states it's being dealt with differently, and different governors are approaching it differently. Right. So where do you fight? It's hard to have any kind of force, any kind of momentum for those who opposed Obamacare a year ago because it's such a diffuse thing out there now.
Yeah, well, once you create a government program that is this big, and remember, this is 17% of the United States economy, health care, this is going to have a profound effect on the way Americans live and die. And it may be possible at some point to whittle it back, to destroy it, to take care of the panels that are set up to manage health care and to prevent health care from being provided to people. But I'll tell you, it's going to be tough, Tori. When you get, and this is what was so disappointing about Chief Justice John Roberts' opinion in the case that upheld it as a tax. Remember, the president said it wasn't a tax, the Democrats said it wasn't a tax, but the Supreme Court, under Roberts, in an opinion that is nothing worse than legal burlesque, said it was a tax. It's going to be very difficult, but we'll be able to take pot shots at it. The states may be able to do some things, but this monstrosity, because of its tax structure and because of the way it will ration health care, is going to profoundly affect this country, all for the bad. You will not recognize American health care in 20 years if it is not changed.
Well, another thing, Joe DiGenova, that we might not recognize about America is the state of the marriage laws here. I know that the Supreme Court this week is taking up 2 different cases. Can you quickly describe the 2 different cases and what the ramifications might be with regard to same-sex marriage?
Yes, there are 2 cases. One involves the constitutionality of a federal statute called the Defense of Marriage Act, which was passed during Bill Clinton's presidency. He signed it, approved it, and now he's against it. And that basically it says that a man and a woman is a marriage, and the federal law establishes that. Now, what the court is going to do here is it's going to say the federal government has no business deciding what a marriage is. That's up to the states and always has been for more than 200 years. So they're going to strike down DOMA, not on equal protection grounds, which is what the woman who's suing for is claiming is a violation. They're going to say that DOMA violates something called the Necessary and Proper Clause of the Constitution, and that it violates the reserved powers of the states. The other thing that's on the ballot is Proposition 8 in California. What the court's going to do there is that, as you know, the California Supreme Court said you could have same-sex marriage. Then the Prop 8 people got together and did an initiative, and it was struck down as unconstitutional under the California Constitution. And then a federal district court and the Ninth Circuit ruled that it was unconstitutional, and it's on the way to the Supreme Court. What the Supreme Court is going to do there is they're going to say that the people who defended the statute, groups that supported Proposition 8, had no standing to defend it. Therefore, they're going to throw the case out. They're going to send it back to the district court, and what will happen is Prop 8 will live, but only for California, and there will be no presidential import of it outside of California. So what the Supreme Court is going to do is they're going to leave marriage to the states, and the one case that dealt with a proposition, they're going to say that ruling stands and that gay couples can get married in California only.
So it's a technical knockout, if you will, but what does it signify? What does it say about this court?
It signifies that they're not going to do Roe v. Wade again. Roe v. Wade was a jurisprudential abomination. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, in a very famous article, said, even though she supports the result, she said it was the worst legal rationale she had ever seen. It stopped a nascent movement in liberalizing abortion laws in the states and created a groundswell of political and moral opposition from which the court did not recover.
Yeah.
For a very long, Harry Blackmun did one of the worst things you can do as a Supreme Court justice. He acted like a politician.
But Joe DiGenova, really quickly, unlike abortion, marriage is backed up. You know, if one state has the constitutional right to say that a marriage is between people of the same gender, that affects all 50 states because of the full faith and credit clause.
That is absolutely correct. Other states will have to recognize it. It's just that's our system. The full faith and credit clause is in the Constitution. We have to live with it.
So when you say, well, I think it should just be up to the states to decide, you're really being disingenuous. Not you personally, but someone is being disingenuous because they know very well that one state does it, then everyone has to honor it.
Courts are disingenuous every day.
All right, Joe DiGenova. Well, you're always genuine when we have you, and it's great to have you every Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Joe.